Good morning again, and welcome to Table Talk with Brenda Perryman right here on TV 33 WHPR, Comcast 90 in Detroit and Oakland County and all over the world, courtesy of the World Wide Web. And this is Table Talk, where we bring the topics to you and we discuss them and no telling whatever. And I have the men on this morning, so let's hope it doesn't get into a brawl. Would you introduce yourselves?
Good morning. I'm Darren Calhoun, Director of EEOC Enrichment and proud father of Candace Calhoun.
Oh, jeez.
She graduates today.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Candace. Chris Sumrall, public servant for the citizens of the city of Detroit.
Darnell McLaurin, public servant as well as a union delegate. Good morning.
Right, we're spanning the universe today. Welcome, gentlemen. You are looking good.
Thank you.
That's what I must say.
And good morning to you, Brenda.
Oh, thank you.
Very nice.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, now on this day, from the
was
book
creepy.
by Ken Coleman, we have on this day, the Michigan Chronicle reports that Bob Mann and Mel Grooms have been signed with contracts for the Detroit Lions. They will become the team's first African American players, and that was 67 years ago, April 24th. So, my goodness, how long have the Lions been around?
Oh man.
I mean, you guys should know that.
Well, they won the
Almost 100
championship in
years.
'57.
Right.
So
It's been around for a long
they've been
time.
around. They were one of the leather helmet teams, and you can if you ever go down to the Hall of Fame in Akron, Ohio, you get to see all that. It's a beauty. Even if you're just a marginal fan of football, you need to go to the Hall of Fame. It is a wonderful place to go.
Some people say that'll be, the closest that we actually
See, now
see
there you
to
go.
a championship.
Now, there you go.
I
He's
don't.
from
I'm not
Detroit.
saying.
He
I'm
said
saying what
some
some
people, but he brought it
people
up.
say. What was that 54? And it was
57.
57.
And
Okay.
it was a football championship
Football championship.
before the
That
modern era.
was Super Bowl,
Then
right?
they came
How
out
many
with
were in attendance? Probably like 1,500, something like that.
Oh, there was more than that. I remember watching Lions games back in the day on television. Back in the day.
This broadcasts farther than Detroit, so you can't. You remember our parents used to tell us you can talk about your family in the house, but you can't talk about them outside.
No, that was a different. We're talking about the NFL now, which
Okay,
they've
so
got a
you
great.
with those Chicago beer with that Chicago beer tie on.
Okay, all right, gentlemen. Now, let's
Love
talk
this guy.
about our first little celebration, but it was after a long time. They have finally confirmed Loretta Lynch
Finally.
as Attorney General of the United States. It took 5 months. And
Eric Holder, I actually met
today
him.
is his last day.
Yeah, I actually met him at the swearing in of one of our commissioners in Washington. I got invited to that ceremony, and he's.
Cute.
comment.
I don't know, guy. I mean, I don't
ugly to
know.
me.
He's tall, and he's pretty funny. But he's actually a pretty cool guy.
I really liked him. I really liked him because he had the courage to say what he did.
And did what he and I think that's what's going to be great about Loretta Lynch. I mean, she's by all accounts she's brilliant.
And I think that no doubt she's kind of set the tone for how she's going to be as far as her supporting the president with immigration, and that call she knew when she came out with that wasn't going to be received well from everyone, and so that was part of no doubt what delayed her getting sworn in as the attorney general.
I think that's what I like, though, is that she wasn't worried about the popular opinion. She made a decision based on what she felt was right in supporting Obama. And even McConnell, who held up the nomination, actually voted for her, in that 56-43 margin.
That was a close margin.
Yeah, and now the key is to look to find out who the 43 were. Look to find out what they are, and then find out what their issue. The 43 that were
There you go,
opposed her,
too. Yeah.
and just find out what their issues are,
Can't
and
you
then
imagine?
yeah.
Right. But a lot of them actually voted because they were calling for a slate vote, which is all the Republicans Senate to vote against it. But clearly some of them went against that and voted. But if you look at some of the states, which I happened to look at yesterday, you would see that
It's right along. You can see
Exactly.
the lines that were drawn.
Exactly.
And that's where it's incumbent upon those persons in those states to say, are you actually voting my interests? And that's what we seem to be getting away from in this country is we're voting against our own self-interest.
And I'm glad you brought that up because I've been saying that for the last couple of weeks. We don't elect individuals. We elect individuals to vote our opinions, and they aren't doing that clearly. I mean, if you look at the state of Michigan itself, with Public Act 436 and the governor, clearly the public voted against that act, and he came back with it. Added appropriations to it so it couldn't be put back on the ballot for a referendum vote. And that's against the will of the people. So, but he was elected for a second term.
He was elected for a second
exactly.
term.
So
exactly.
we really have to look at the political system and find out, is it working for us, and vote for the people that's going to do the things that we ask them to do. They have to be held accountable.
But you're absolutely right. People vote against their own interests, and a lot of it, I remember, like a lot of teachers voting for Engler back in the day, when Engler was clearly against public school education. And I never understood that. And then there was a teacher who worked with me. He voted for everything that the Fox News channel told him to vote for.
And what you have to look at, though, Brenda, is people vote for different reasons. I asked the individual, why did he vote for Bush? He's voted for Bush not for any economical reasons, not for what he was doing for his family. He voted for Bush because he didn't believe in abortions.
I know some other people who did the same thing.
Yeah, and they went out the first Bush and any Republican administration. You'll find a lot of soldiers and veterans who will vote for Republican administrations because they believe, the Republicans are strong on the military,
on military defense.
I'm gonna support that, and then they turn around and take all the information, all the money and services away from veterans.
Exactly.
And that's against.
But
your
they
own
don't.
self-interest.
But they don't see it, and they will continue to vote Republican because they believe that the defense spending is where the Republicans
come
are.
out on that.
Exactly.
And so that's why I'm actually really glad that Loretta Lynch is in. I am absolutely proud of her.
I hope she'll be as aggressive as Eric Holder.
Within the constraints what she have, I actually believe she will be, because Eric Holder even endorsed her. He thought she would be great. So we'll just have to see.
Well,
because she'll have a lot of opportunities.
Well, Darren, you and I started talking on the first show about the situation in Baltimore. I'm going to ask you this as a woman to a man. Does it frighten you, the things that are happening, or does it make you more aware? How do you all feel about it's being exposed that so many black men are hurt or killed by police?
You know what? I think that, speaking for me and maybe for the gentleman I'm flanked by, it really doesn't change anything, because this is more so highlighting stuff that we've lived with for our entire lives. We've always had an uneasiness when law enforcement was around for whatever, we don't have to be doing anything, but there's an uncomfortable feeling. I was driving on 275 just yesterday, and when you see an officer, you don't feel safer. You almost
you grab the wheel a little tighter.
Yeah.
You sit up straighter.
You check your speed.
You check your speed. You check and they're tied up with someone else, and you still get that. Okay,
and then I find myself actually looking in the window to see who they pulled over, if it's black or white.
And you
do?
I do.
all
I
the
do.
time.
What do you do? Get out
the
the car and go?
No,
You pull up the
but
video.
but what I look for is if I'm in a predominantly white area where there's going to be white drivers, but if I see a black person pulled over, and it kind of plays with my mind as to, was this person singled out, or it could be a legitimate stop. However,
you need to visit Virginia with me.
There's still that thought in my mind: is this person targeted?
We have a call. We have a call, and we'll continue. Good morning.
Oh, I'm not trying to change the subject, but what did the Democrat president give up for Ms. Lynch to be confirmed? Can you weigh in on that question? And then, too, the thing that people are disenchanted with voting is because we find out that there's really no difference in the Democrats and the Republicans. They have the same corporations bag as each one of them. So I think that we should look at corporations and try to go after corporations instead of Democrats and Republicans. This Trans-Pacific Partnership that they are passing against the American workers. So, and Obama is 100%. Will you all please weigh in on this about the Trans-Pacific Partnership that is going to take American jobs away from us? And this is why I'm voting for Bernie Sanders. Hillary is a warlord. And so I'm voting for Bernie Sanders because I don't want them to take any more money from my Social Security. And they want to increase the age to 70 years old. So please weigh in on that. People, we're going to have to rise up, Bernie Sanders, and we're going to have to get out here in the streets because I don't want them messing with Social Security. Thank you.
She makes some valid points. Both Democrats and Republicans, dance with the same devil. But what we have to do as citizens, we have to be active. When I was younger and I used to listen to my grandparents talk about politics, it's because they were involved in what was going on and the things that were happening in the political world was affecting them, which essentially affected me as a child being in their household. So what we have to do as citizens who have the right to vote, we have to hold politicians accountable. And I understand what she's saying and her frustration as far as losing her Social Security, me being a civil servant. I've lost things through the through the Public Act 436, so I'm very vocal about that. So what we have to do is stop accepting what they give us. It's just like going to the corner store in Detroit versus a store in Farmington Hills. If you continue to accept that out-of-date meat, they're going to keep giving it to you until you stop shopping there or you say something about it. And it's the same thing with politicians. The people that ask to come to these communities and ask for your vote, you have to hold them accountable.
And I think sometimes people are going for the lesser of two evils. And it's unfortunate because people feel they must vote. Now, I've run into people lately who said they don't vote and never have. And never plan to.
A no vote is a yes vote
It's a
for
yes
somebody.
Vote. It's a
Right.
yes vote for someone else, and then and I've always said if you don't vote, you can't complain.
Right.
You can't, because you're not participating in the process to change anything.
But I
by
think
not
we
voting.
need to do more than vote in March.
You're right. Get involved. I mean, you have access to the people that you place in office. And I mean, and I've done this. I've called my city council. I'm not talking about the president, because there are so many layers to get to the president. But there's an old adage: all politics.
He doesn't just take your call.
He might.
No, I'm talking
he
about.
might.
I'm talking about everyone else.
He's talking
Oh,
about.
I'm talking about
you
everyone
talk
else.
about the
I'm talking about
townspeople
like Chris.
I
But
think
like what I was saying was all politics are local,
Right.
and so and I've done this before in my local town, close here to Detroit
Yeah.
when I lived here.
Oh, you're
Hush now,
you're
hush
in
now.
the
We all got the same zip
don't.
code. But I would call my council person and say, "My name is Darren Calhoun. I'm a registered voter and I vote. Now I have an issue." And that's my question is, I participate in the process. My statement was I participate in the process. So this is not just someone who's calling to complain.
Right.
And I think it was a street light, and that street light got fixed quickly. So that you put that out there, and I'm not saying it works in every situation, but the politician's position and the politician's job is to get reelected.
well,
Excuse me.
Well, I think that the caller made some very valid points as well, and I think that if we're honest with ourselves, we do see the political agenda being more so puppeted by corporate interests, and it's become even
Koch
more.
brothers.
Even more blatant. And I think there was just legislation passed recently that there's not a limit now. There's no cap as to how much these corporations can donate to specific campaigns, specific parties. And so what you have a mirage that is acting as a political party, which is actually funded and directed by billionaires, and they do what they're told. And I'm of the mindset that while the people do have a voice, they have the checkbook. And so as long as that is their primary source of funding, then they're always going to have the head of the table, and they do. And we'd be naive if we don't think that these large corporations, these lobbyists, don't have the ear closer than the constituents that these political
right.
Right.
You-
And I
get
agree
you,
with
but-
that.
I agree with you, but then so let's just shut down and give up.
Exactly.
No,
And my point is, we understand that the
understand
money is at the table. But guess what? If you don't do what you came to my neighborhood and said you're going to do, you're going to be a one termer. Just like this young lady is concerned about her Social Security check. She's not the only one getting Social Security. So if everybody that's getting Social Security, money is getting cut. When they call him, when they go to him, and they say, if you don't do something about it, you're going to be a one-termer. So he got all that money,
He got that
but
money
you're going to
from
be
those
out of here
corporations,
next
but the
election.
corporations only get the one vote. I mean, I'm not discounting what you're saying. I'm not discounting that they get the commercials and they get their names out.
Well,
there.
they're only going to get politician is only going to go as far as his corporate sponsorship.
I totally agree with you.
Absolutely.
But
And
he
if-
can't go as far as he can't go anywhere without
An
a
honest-hearted
coalition of voters.
an honest-hearted.
And the word is galvanize. People have to galvanize and let him know or her know.
But
They have the money, we have the vote.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at things historically, how things happen, and just realistically. That money is realistically going to be there every single
But
time.
I'm gonna
every
tell you,
election cycle-
Eric Cantor, who had a bunch of money behind
He sure
him,
did.
was not reelected. He was not reelected, and he had the money. People got together and voted for the other candidate. So let's kind of get back to where we were, because we were talking about the
Freddie
situation
Gray.
in Baltimore, and everything is connected, I believe, because the way, and Darren and I spoke to this on my last show, was the way that the administrations of these different police departments or sheriff's departments respond to these things that happen to black men. In where is it? In Tulsa, with the older man who shot the
72 years old. I mean, that's
73.
not 73. That's not even that old, but he should not have been
on the street.
on the street with
Period.
the firearm chasing or even coming close to suspects. I don't.
Hey, but you know what? That isn't unusual. Shaq is a
sheriff,
Yes.
volunteer sheriff or whatever.
In Florida.
Detroit have reserves, and the reason the reserves are there, let's say they're having an event, they don't have enough cops on the payroll to secure that event, especially something like the festivals downtown. So they'll bring in the reservists who are certified by the state to carry a weapon and to be a reserve. But you're right, 73 years old. But in the city of Detroit, they don't have a retirement age, and they got some regular cops on duty that are that age. I'm not sure.
You know, and I was,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
and you
They don't
bring
have
up a great
retirement
point.
age.
I was talking to the mayor of Richmond some time ago.
Virginia.
And we were talking about the reserves, and I was asking him as a city official, how do you use reserves, and how do you have this type of program where someone can almost be a weekend cop, a weekend warrior is what they think they've been calling. And he said that's just absolutely. He was telling me
cowboy.
that's irresponsible for irresponsible for that municipality to allow for that to happen. And the reasons why is because that money you speak about.
And I think that there are a fraction of individuals that
Excuse me,
use.
Chris, we have a call.
Sure.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Happy Friday. This is Theo.
Hi,
I was
Theo.
calling because I think I understood your guest to be with the EEOC. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay. Equal Employment Opportunity.
Equal Employment Opportunity
Here
Commission.
in the city of Detroit, we had over 20,000 city workers who have been displaced and demoralized. And I think when you have the issue of the citizens being shot in the back in Detroit or anywhere around the nation, because of the undermining of the community like this, it's difficult for
them to focus on anything else. Now, in the job position that you have, it's my understanding from looking over the Constitution that their pension was supposed to be protected. And in your capacity, do you have the right and responsibility to look in the undermining of the pensions of the city workers so that these people could get back to being concerned about politics that affect people on the, in their daily lives and locally?
Complex question. Do we have the? Is it our authority within the EEOC to look
Yes,
look
into the fact that the state constitution is supposed to protect the pensions, okay, in particular the pensions of the workers who were just affected by the bankruptcy. Now, it seems to me that the bankruptcy was used to override the pension, which seems to be illegal to me. And I'm just saying, because of what has happened to so many of the people here, that they're demoralized. It's difficult for them to focus in on the kind of brutality that's happening.
Right, and in the manner that you speak of, no, that's not within our jurisdiction. We don't enforce any of the state laws or enforce any of the state. And I believe, because we were on the show before, how the pensions were a contract and a state constitution issue.
You know,
the EEOC deals with federal laws against discrimination in employment on the basis of race, color, religion, national origin, age, sex, disability, or genetic status.
But I'm so glad she called in, because she made some very basic points about the Public Act or Emergency Manager Law, which is Public Act 436. Our pensions were constitutionally protected back from 1967. Now, if you look at this commercial about Proposal 1 as it relates to the state's funds for the roads, in one of those commercials, there's a guy that says, and it is going to be constitutionally protected. But the exact same governor,
right,
who's raising this proposal that's going to be constitutionally protected, took the pensions away from police and firefighters that were constitutionally protected.
That's exactly
But
what
he
I'm
was
talking
elected again.
I know.
Thank you, caller.
I think they need stronger candidates on the other side, but that's neither here nor there. Thank you so much, Theo. We have another call. Thank you so much for bringing that up.
Thank you for
Very
calling.
salient point.
And vote no on one.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yes.
Yes, I heard you was talking about electoral politics and cooperation. You know, the last election, according to Obama, 2/3 of the registered voters in the country did not vote at all. And in this state, 57.8% did not vote. And in Detroit, 65.1% or something like that did not vote. And I think the people sense one thing. The two parties that we got, Democrats and Republicans, both are owned by corporations. So it discourages people from voting. And I think until we have a third party to represent the people, then I think the voting going to go down and down and down, and there's going to be a conflict in this country between the working and the poor masses and the rich. It could very well spin into a civil war revolution, because we do understand something, that just voting now don't make no sense, especially when the purse have bought up everybody in the electoral politics, even down to the school board. So I just want to know, I agree with the other caller, one of your guests who's talked about the political body as being an oligarchy in this country.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's kind of get back to
Baltimore.
We're in Baltimore
yeah,
and Bright
but-
Michael Brown.
But we were talking about the guy from Tulsa, and he hadn't been trained. See, I every day I hear something new about it, and this is being allowed. And you talked about the mayor saying it was preposterous.
Preposterous for that municipality to allow someone to come in really on the weekends to enforce the law. I mean, it's too important a position That's just like, that's just like the fire department allowing me to come in. Since I'm in Detroit today, well, I'm going to go fight a fire, and I don't have the requisite training, and I could be a public servant.
The interesting thing is that it always seems to happen in specific communities. As it's almost as if there's been these movies or films where a person is almost people are used as like game, and I think that the African American community, the minority communities in this country, don't merit the same consideration from authority, from the political office, from corporations that their counterparts merit. And it's evident because of the consistent treatment of those communities. For this individual to be so ill trained that he mistake his taser for his gun.
And they're in two separate locations.
Can you imagine that happening in one of the more affluent communities? He wouldn't even reach for his taser. Right. And so
he would still be in
I'm not speaking just specifically on this instance, but it almost looks as if you have these well-to-do folks who want to get their thrill, and so they go into what they would consider a hostile environment, maybe so they can grow a hair or two more on their chest for the weekend, come back and talk to their buddies about, look what I did over the weekend. Right. Here's some selfies of me in the hood and taking down these folks. So I think that it's broader than these isolated incidents have been happening. They're happening right now, and if there's no camera there, then we won't hear about it.
Right, and that's what we talked about.
They're being polarized because of the cell phone and the video camera. But if you look at all the incidents that happened recently, Baltimore, Oklahoma, Ferguson, and some more to name a few. It was one.
Shot that kid.
Right. It was just one in Florida as well. All these incidents where these young black men were shot and killed, it was for something very petty.
Absolutely.
Very petty.
Yeah.
The guy that got killed, right? The guy that got killed in Baltimore, he just ran.
He was just running.
Well, the guy who got killed before him in Baltimore with the same kind of injury was urinating on the sidewalk.
Exactly. So these guys are being attacked and killed for some very minor things.
Darnell, we have a call right now. Hopefully it's on this subject. Good morning.
Good morning. It is this man that had the gun that shot the man in the back. He donated money to the mayor's campaign.
Right.
This is the same thing where politics are being undermined by money. So he donated money. He got that position because he paid for campaign.
It's not only the campaign.
So
he donated He donated $125,000 worth of stuff, not only to politicians, but also to the sheriff's department.
Exactly. So this is what is undermining American politics. This is the reason why people are not voting, are not getting out here voting for these two parties, because you can buy your way into politics. And this is the same thing in America. And that's the reason why we're going to have a revolution, because it's got to stop.
Right. Thank you very much. Now, let's go. What do you think? How is all this going to play out? What do you think is going to happen besides body cameras? And I think they need some more training.
I can say the truth, or I can say
Well, just say the truth.
I think it's going to get worse.
It's going to get worse.
It's going to continue to get worse
before it gets better. But
I don't think it's going to get better.
My son was on here a couple of weeks ago, and he says if he stopped, because he has to drive in a lot of rural areas for his job, if he stopped, the first thing he does is turn on the recorder on his phone.
I was going to say the entrepreneur in me is thinking about how these auto companies can now implement surveillance from the inside out as almost an item that you can order. And maybe it'll be something that the minority community will look into. They got cameras that'll show you when you back up. Maybe they could show, cameras around the vehicle now as well. I don't know, but
Well,
that's something coming.
There's already an app for it on your smartphone. I think it's called Cop Watch or something like that. So all you have to do is hit. You don't have to turn on your camera. You just hit that app and it starts recording from that moment.
Wow. Well, the next story deals with Motor City Match, which offers $500,000 each quarter. That's every 3 months to help launch businesses in Detroit. What did you all think about that?
I'm interested to hear what Chris got to say.
Oh, you should hear what I think it's phenomenal. I think that anytime that you can support entrepreneurs who essentially are job creators, that's a phenomenal and dynamic thing. I'm a little, I guess, uncomfortable because of the timing. Detroit, if you look historically and statistically, has been the home of more minority entrepreneurs per capita than any other city in the country. There are more black business owners in Detroit than any other major metropolis. And so it seems as if the timing is kind of
Suspect?
as
But-
to when this
okay.
As to what? What's this?
Well, I think that black entrepreneurs have been in this city for the last 40 years, and we haven't seen programs like this. So the suspect part comes into where now Detroit is more appealing to folks of all demographics and palates.
I was just trying to figure out what it
however,
because this is not.
I think it's a great thing still.
All right.
However,
I don't think this is going to cut that out.
well, no, but
I
this is this. If
It might enhance it.
Well, if a person thinks that the lightning of Detroit doesn't play a part in this, then they'd be naive.
Yeah, the bigger picture is, I understand what Chris is saying, is the program is not just for residents.
Right.
For the city of Detroit, it's for everybody. And ironic,
If you have a business in Detroit.
if you want to create a business,
here in Detroit.
right, in Detroit, but you don't have to be from Detroit.
Yeah.
Right.
What's ironic, though, is I watched a story the other day, is their advertisement in New York City about coming to Detroit. So it was very interesting, and I hope everybody get a chance to
And
see
Virginia.
it. Exactly,
I've seen
about coming to
advertisements
Come to
Detroit.
Detroit.
And so
Come to
there's
Detroit.
there's
Come to
a
the D.
right there's a large amount of people out there that saying, "Hey, I'm moving to Detroit."
Oh,
They
no.
have this, they have that.
There are billboards
they're getting
in
this and
New
they're
York
getting
that
that.
say Detroit is now hiring. Not
Exactly.
the city, but that the opportunities are there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And just for the sake of this conversation, not because Chris and I disagree on anything.
Ever.
What's the alternative? And
No,
I understand what you're
I don't-
saying.
you
So
know,
what's your
it's-
alternative? What's the alternative?
There is no alternative because you have to start it, and now
You
is
have
now
to get it
now is
somewhere.
the time. However, that still doesn't make my eyebrow lower.
It doesn't
You
make
know?
your eyebrow lower,
So-
but it does. But it does not say that we can't. And
Take
those are
advantage
the
of this.
We got to get in.
And
there
I
and
hope
take
that we,
advantage.
and that's the
And we
thing, that
have
I
to.
hope that some Detroit residences actually take advantage of it,
Right.
because although it's for everybody, you deserve it.
They will, but where it's suspect is I look at it now, compare it to another controversial issue in the state with the marijuana laws. There are folks now who are benefiting or prospering for something that someone right across the street is locked up with. So what
Hopefully
I'm
not
saying,
public servants.
no. So what I'm saying is that where there have been people historically who have been isolated and they haven't received that. Now there's folks and their businesses may have failed because they didn't have programs like this. And now there's new interest in like I said, the lightning of Detroit, and now these programs are publicized.
What
Maybe
do you mean by that? The lightning of Detroit?
well, you know
Like
what?
a, like a lightning bolt, and it's a new charge in the city. Or what are you talking?
You know what? You can stick with that if that's.
I'm just
you know,
asking the
it's,
question.
It's
I'm
it's
just- I'm
it's,
just
re-
here to
it's
ask
really
questions.
open to the
No,
listener
go
how
on
you
and
how
tell
you
me.
would want
Tell
how you
me,
would want
go
to
on
interpret.
and tell
The
me.
lightning of Detroit essentially is where Detroit is being populated by folks who aren't black.
Oh.
So that's really the lightning of Detroit.
And why is that happening?
Well, that's happening for a number of reasons.
In your opinion?
In my opinion, I think that the perception of Detroit has made a 180. I think as far as being a city that is headed by black people, I don't think that that's the perception anymore. And I think that Detroit is viewed as a great opportunity right now, which it is. There's a lot of
So
opportunity.
is that a bad thing or is that a good thing?
Well, I don't think that either way is a bad thing. I don't think that if Detroit, that the leaders of Detroit were black, I don't think that that's a bad thing. However, I think that it was looked at as a negative when that was the case. And so I don't think inversely that because Detroit now is headed by folks who are not black, that it's a good or bad thing. It's just, it is what it is. But the perception is really what drives people. So, my opinion is either way, as long as the person is qualified and consistent. However, that's not public opinion. And then when you
Well,
partner
you
that
know,
with these programs, it just looks.
Right, and I'm thinking about bringing money into the city. I think we have a caller. I think
Yes, we
we're
do.
trying to bring money into the city
Good
to bring this up.
Good
morning,
morning.
Hi, Brenda. How are you?
Oh, fine again, Tom.
And good morning to your guests. You know what? In terms of what the gentleman said about the lightning of Detroit, I mean, he's exactly right. And I mean, I said this about Detroit. I said Detroit is like a berry on a vine, and it's been ripening in the sun. And I mean, it's almost ripe for picking. And those folks, I'm talking about your entrepreneurs, as obvious because of what's going on in downtown and midtown, they are willing to roll the dice as they have because, I mean, the population in downtown and midtown, it has soared, okay? But they're willing to roll the dice to come in here to open up a shop and put a sign out on the side of a building. And, I mean, as obvious, it's more than folks that look like me and the four people here sitting on the television screen.
So is that a good thing or a bad thing? Let me ask you the same question.
I would say it's a good thing to this point. That, I mean, the city is for everybody. Me, myself, personally. It's for everybody. It's not necessarily, I mean, yeah, we are the majority of the population, okay? But in terms of a city surviving, a city is going to need some revenue, meaning tax dollars
Exactly.
going those coffers to pay for service.
Because remember, had 1 million people in this city. Thank you for your call. We had 1 million people in this city, and now we're down to 700,000. But
Well, when I came here, it was 1.8 million.
okay, so,
Right.
and if this is going to bring people into the city, which is
Let
going to
'em
bring
come.
tax bases up, and it's
That's
going, and we have to be positioned. And this is why I think the last time I was on the show, Robert was talking about this. We have to be positioned to take advantage of these things. We can't
That's
just
true.
That's
we can't
absolutely
just sit back and say, "Oh man, it's getting." Not saying that you did this, Chris.
No.
But, oh man, it's getting lighter. Dang, that's messed up. We can't. That's messed up. They're coming into our city.
The lightning of Detroit has no reflection of to me how I view the city as better or worse. I only mentioned that as an indicator of the suspicion of timing of
But
this.
see,
And so
the word suspicion denotes negativity. And
no,
that's what I'm-
it honestly is what it is. It's almost it's tantamount to when the stepkids are around, you giving them weak toast, but then when your blood daughter is there, well
come
now we
on.
got
Now it's weak toast.
No,
But
what
you-
it
but you-
reminds me of is back in the 1800s or whenever that was, there was a gold rush to California. Everybody was going out to California. They were destroying Indians along the way. Let's
The federal government was doing that. I think we have a call.
Right. We have another call. Thanks, Tom. Okay. Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Happy Friday to all of you.
Thank you.
Two things. One, when it talks about business and African Americans being in business, the term qualified always comes up. But I don't hear that when you talk about others. We know that the governor has stated that he wants 50,000 immigrants to come into the state of Michigan, and primarily in the southeastern part of Michigan, which is Detroit. The other issue is there were many African Americans in business. As a matter of fact, her research did research, and there were 22 gas stations. But we need to talk about the kinds of things that were done to push black folk out of business. There was a gentleman who had a gas station, 3 sons. He wanted it to be family business, raised him, etc. He was offered money, said no, family business. He was offered money, said no, family business. He was burned out. As it relates to the tow truck business here, there's a man who, the trucks roll around the city, little red and white trucks. Same thing. He was pushing and is pushing the black tow truck owners out of business. So when we talk about our people being qualified and running businesses, they can, do, and have. There was a gentleman on this station, Glenn Wash. He tried to buy property over on the east side to open up a stowing rental. You know what I'm trying to say. He has a Lyndon Schaefer storage facility. Clean, excellent, run well. He wanted one on the east side. They won't sell him the land.
Right.
So there are some impediments that
there are
take
impediments,
place
and we got
when you talk about African Americans doing business in the city of Detroit.
Right.
Right. Thank you for your
Theo,
call. We have
we're
another
gonna have
call.
to move on to another
problem.
call.
We
But
appreciate
thank
your call.
So
Thank you so much.
You always give us so much good information.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Happy Friday.
And next call. Good morning. Hello? Oh, it's
Oh,
gone.
I'm sorry.
You know,
Everybody, we want to
Yeah, we'll
hurry
move
up and
on.
tie this up so
I was
we
just
have
gonna
a lot of other topics.
speak on as an entrepreneur, someone who looks at opportunity and tries to position himself. I am happy to see anyone with the nerve to take a chance, because that's really what being an entrepreneur is about, taking a chance. I think that as much as the conversation is about the new interest in Detroit, I want to hear as much conversation about the folks who have also been here before it was popular. You're a big sports guy. What do you think about fair weather fans? And Detroit can be linked to that as
That
far
can
as
go with anything.
That can- that-
That
you're-
can
I-
go
I
from
understand
personal
that.
relationships to
I
everything.
I understand
Fair
that,
weather.
but it would make a person feel a certain kind of way if you've been a season ticket
What is
holder
that
for
saying?
for 30 years, and then they have a fan appreciation night, and now the team has just got hot, so a person just come back because they're hot, and they're like, "Oh, fan appreciation night, you come take a picture with me. This guy has been here supporting this economy
Yeah,
for
but-
30
yeah,
years."
but they get the
we
what,
have
and they
to
get the tickets to the
move-
playoffs. So you're right. I hear what you're saying. But I just think that I think if the water rises, all the boats will rise. I have to believe in that.
Do you
because
believe-
if
We have to-
I have to
we
because
have
if
to
not,
believe that.
then why don't we just shut down now?
No, it's
Right.
not
We gotta
about
move
shut.
on. We got to move to another
I
topic.
mean,
shutting
some
down?
people were, what I hear a lot is nobody wants us to come here. Nobody wants to do this and that. There have been businesses sustaining themselves, and maybe this is a time for them to expand their businesses
This-
with
the
this
station
brand
here.
and everything. Let's go on quickly to Ben Affleck. It was revealed. It's real quick. Recently, that his ancestor was a slave owner, but he asked them to keep that out of the television program.
My ancestors were slaves.
Exactly.
Is there a story here?
Is there a story? The
It's
only
not even
reason
a story.
the only reason why it was a story is because he tried to bury it.
Yeah.
That's not even a story.
Come on, don't even- come
Why,
on, don't even make
why would he
sense.
want anybody to know that? Why would he be proud of that? So, sure, he tried to bury. People got skeletons in their closet. He didn't want it to come out.
It's not even
a
his
story.
skeleton.
It's not even his
I know.
It's
skeleton.
right, but what I'm saying is, it's
But,
not even
you
a
know,
story.
his whole
Who
deal-
cares?
The only
his whole
reason why is
deal,
because it got leaked.
He's a liberal. He's very,
Right.
very
Oh,
liberal.
and because he wanted. All in our roots. We're all liberal. Come on, man.
Right,
For
but
real.
You know what?
But see,
I've got a
I
confession.
probably had an ancestor who was a slave owner too.
I've got a
And-
confession. My
oh.
great granddaddy didn't like chicken. Now that's embarrassing to me, but it's out there now, and I love
okay.
chicken.
That's the reason why
Listen,
you don't. That's the reason why it's a
listen,
lightning
man.
of Detroit. See,
Listen, man.
that's
not
your
even a
I got-
story.
We all need to just
Who
get these
cares?
bones out our
My
closet.
How? You don't have any if you don't eat
great-grandfather's name
chicken
was
in your
Ben,
closet?
But
and
who
he was
cares?
engaged. He was a slave. I mean, we had him on all
You
sides.
should be taking a picture now, by the way.
Titties.
But yeah,
Yes.
who cares?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Now Barry Bonds, I felt it was
Some
important
kind
to
of
put
way, huh?
this. I don't like that term. That some kind of way is a throwaway term, and I wish that
Some kind
people
of
would
way.
not. It's a throwaway term if you can't define how you feel. Some kind of way is a throwaway, nothing term.
Right. And
Anyway.
let's keep on trucking.
No, I'm just going to tell you, it's a throwaway, nothing term.
And if you mention it again, no, I'm just-
I mean, it's a nothing term.
Well,
I feel some kind of
that's
way.
the
Because it's
educator.
not
That's the
saying
teacher
because
coming
it's
out
not
of it.
bad and it's not good. I just feel
No, but
some
be
kind of way.
Suspect,
Don't even
like
talk
the
to me.
You
like
feel
the money coming in the
Don't
city.
talk to me about some kind of way. Tell me how you feel.
Okay, I feel
Anyway.
that Barry Bonds is. I'm glad he's not facing criminal charges anymore. I think he sullied his own name.
I think
I
so.
feel terrible for him because the guy he was a great hitter. But would he have been a great hitter?
Without
He was a great hitter. He was an all-star before the suspected steroid
Well, why
run.
don't you tell the audience what was overturned? Oh,
Go ahead, Darren.
he was charged. The only thing they could get him on was obstruction of justice. He was charged in the Balco industry with the juicing, not even the early days juicing, because that was a whole atmosphere of juicing in pro baseball and using performance enhancing drugs or performance enhancing whatever. Now I'm not, I guess we'd have to get Dr. Rose on here for that, but I don't know what it could do because I'm not, I am an athlete, but but in my days of athletes are long gone, and the only performance enhancing we had was Gatorade. So whatever he used,
Chuck Taylor's.
yeah,
PF Flyers.
There you go. I had beta bullets, but
I had PF Flyers.
See?
and so what and if you look at pictures now, that's why I question whether he was an all-star. If you look at pictures of Barry Bonds, the years before, I'm just throwing it out here. Don't throw roll your eyes.
Oliver
But you know what though? I see where you're going. But listen,
And then look at him
he
after.
has never failed a baseball
And that
drug
was,
test.
but see, that was what's supposed to be so great about Balco. They said you'll never fail a baseball drug test.
Listen. Are you on steroids right now?
Right now?
Right now.
Today?
Yes.
No.
But if we looked at pictures of you 20 years ago, would you look
No.
the same?
If you look at me picture last year,
Yeah.
I'd look the same.
No. What I'm saying is that we all
20 years ago?
we all noticed that his
What year is
physique changed.
His
However,
head changed,
if
not
you-
his physique. I'm
your-
talking about
your
his head.
You had dreads,
I'm
and now you have
that's hair. I didn't say his head swole.
He
But
passed
but if
the
you look
test.
at his
Wow.
statistics, it doesn't even.
It's not-
the
you
test
know-
doesn't matter. The
It's the public perception. You
the
just-
public,
you
quarter,
just
quarter
mentioned
public. And we know baseball.
But it
it's
went
all
so,
about.
it went further than that. If you looked at his antics, Barry Bonds didn't even practice. He would come to the stadium and eat and do interviews.
And he would
while
pass
everybody-
the
Neither did
test.
Allen
So he
Iverson.
would pass the
Neither
test.
did Allen
No, but what I'm
Iverson.
saying is,
You talking about practice?
No, but what I'm saying is the
Practice
public
is what it's
I'm
perception.
talking about baseball.
Right.
You talking about practice?
Right, but what I'm saying is the
Practice.
public
We're talking about
perception,
practice.
though, was that
You
he
talking
wasn't.
about practice.
No, he,
He was-
nobody liked him.
Listen, man.
So that plays a
Because he
big
wouldn't
part
talk
into
to
it.
people. Did you take drugs? Say no. Just say no. I
he
didn't
didn't.
take the
He
drugs.
didn't talk. He did
Right.
not talk to people because he was taking drugs or anything like that. He didn't talk to
couldn't
them.
talk to
Maybe he
them.
didn't want to talk to him.
Because
But he
they would ask him
passed
about the
every
drugs.
test.
When this
And
show
he
is over,
passed.
you don't talk to me.
What?
I'm just. This is just. Kidding.
And this is the reason why, because it's
because you don't
practice.
like me.
But no, he listen. He passed the
So
test.
my question was, do you think he'll be inducted into
No.
the Hall of Fame? I
It's
Not
been
at all.
very difficult.
Not at
Pete
all.
Rose will get in before him.
And Pete Rose can't even get in the hallway of his own house.
Right, so
His-
it'll be
you're
very
not supposed to be in the
Absolutely
hall.
not.
He only had a
You can't be-
36% approval rating
And
the
you need
last
75,
time.
and
he
then
needs
you only get
75,
so many votes.
Yeah.
So-
But I tell you what, he
It's
will
gonna be
keep.
tough. It's gonna
he'll
be
keep
tough.
that $22 million a year he was making. So
Of course.
Is he still making that? Is he?
I don't know what he's making
And the
right now,
records are
but
in the
one
book.
year, $22 million probably beats what I've had going on for quite a while.
And the,
Well,
and the
that's
records
what
are in the book. The records. That's my thing. I don't like.
No,
the
they're gonna
judging.
take- they're gonna
He's
try
a
to
Hall
take the
of-
records
no,
out.
What I'm saying is he's
Asterisk.
a Hall of Famer, right? But he isn't going to get in the Hall of Fame not based on his talent,
Or something
but based
proven.
on public opinion.
Yep.
And that's what I'm saying. Pete Rose right now would be in the Hall of Fame.
Should be.
You know,
Should
and
be
he
based on
should
his
be
numbers.
just as well.
But-
Barry Bonds should be.
But same thing with Pete Rose. I mean, did he gamble
think-
on his games?
No, I understand.
Did he
I-
shave some?
I get it.
Did he make it so?
No, he did not gamble
But
on any
what
games
is
he
the-
played
but-
in.
but what is-
he did
you
not
believe that?
Yes, he did
But
not.
what
You
yes,
believe that?
Yes.
But what is the Hall
You
of
got
Fame?
to be kidding me.
Do they
Yes.
have proof?
First, it's the like.
Do
Okay,
they
so
have
what
proof?
proof do you have that he?
I don't. But
So-
I don't. I'm not going to sit here and believe that this man
So,
here, who's
You work
making
for the
money,
federal government.
Maybe he
The
had
creed-
integrity
The creed
and
and
never would
motto
vote against
of
the
the-
creed and motto.
of
Because
the
he's
law
black?
is
Nah, if it was
innocent until proven what? He's innocent.
I didn't say he was guilty.
But
I didn't quite say he was
But
innocent.
he's
I
sus-
said
here comes that word again. Suspect.
You
Right.
brought
But
it
here's
up.
the point, though.
Oh,
You brought it up
With-
today.
with-
Don't make
with
sense
Pete
what
Rose
I'm saying,
talent.
but when
So
you
I
say
can't be suspect.
But with Pete Rose talent,
Pause.
does he
You can't be
belong in the
suspect.
Hall
Okay,
of
so
Fame?
now I can be suspect.
You can be suspect.
I didn't
if
say
you are.
explicit.
I
I
would
can
say-
have suspicion.
I would say that you're not suspect, but this is suspicious. That's a better way
Wait
of
a
saying
minute.
it.
Is the Hall of Fame based on your talent or your character?
It's a popularity
Yes.
contest.
Yes.
It's a popularity contest mixed with
Exactly.
a little
I
bit of
think I
numbers.
say yes.
Exactly.
I think
but
it's-
no,
I think
it's
so.
based on talent. When
It
they get
starts
up,
with
be.
talent, but it's also based on the public perception and who votes on the Hall of Fame. It's the writers.
Well, let's
and the
let's,
writers
well,
are
let's,
perceiving
And
that-
they shouldn't,
let's
they shouldn't
induct
dominate
people-
the votes
let's
either.
let's
Why not?
induct people to the
Because
Hall of
they're-
Fame.
Another process
based
we
These
on
are the guys
how
who
well
never
they're
were
liked.
athletes.
Because
They
if
never
that's-
could make the team, and then all of a sudden they're the ones that, with all the power. I don't believe in them having the right to pick all the MVPs. I don't believe in that. Let the players have a vote because they're the ones going to
players
tell
do
you.
have a
Well,
vote.
people have to know that
they're gonna
all
be the ones to
awards
tell you
are
who's better or
based on
not.
opinion.
The players do have a vote.
Next topic. Creflo Dollar says the devil blocked his dream.
I
of a
saw this
$65
yesterday.
million
Next topic.
jet.
Next topic. I saw this
No, next
yesterday.
topic.
Okay.
You know, haters hate.
Oh,
That's what he did. He said haters hate. He had a
From the-
GoFundMe account. Fund me for
$65
$65 million.
million.
It's us?
From the
Come
the
on,
pimp stick
man.
to the pulpit.
Come on, man. You know, it's me. I'm a hater because I said, whoa, wait a minute.
need one of them
he
pimp
had
trucks.
he had a GoFundMe account and it's the haters. I never asked you for a dime. But it's us?
Yeah.
Come on, for real? All right. You know,
Okay.
that's,
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely unreal.
now the Pacquiao
You got to be ashamed
and
of yourself.
Merriweather fight is coming up. When is it? Tomorrow?
No,
May
it's the
2nd.
second. May 2nd.
Next
May
Okay.
2nd.
It's the most expensive
Boom.
ticket
because
ever.
and it's
They
it's-
went up since.
They went up.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, 80,000. I think that
Supply
six
and demand.
figures for like the first 3 rows are
Yeah.
going to be 6 figures plus.
So far, the highest tickets paid was 70,000. But you're right. Within the last week, the prices could go up.
They-
Secondary
Oh.
sales.
And the thing
Secondary
about it,
sales.
The thing
called
exactly. And the
wholesale
thing about
retail.
It, they didn't go on sale till yesterday. They sold out in 60 seconds yesterday.
Yeah.
Because they never signed a contract until
Right.
yesterday
Bob
afternoon.
Aaron
and in
wouldn't sign
60 seconds, they sold out.
Right. Prince sold out in like 50-something seconds, too,
No,
when
he
he performed
sold
at
it.
the
I
Fox
thought it
last
was
week.
4 minutes.
I heard about that.
The paper.
And I wasn't
4
here. That's
minutes,
my
yeah.
bad.
What we're not even talking about though, a huge amount of the revenue comes in from the pay-per-view. This is just the box office.
Right.
The pay-per-views are setting a record now
I know,
for
and I'm one of
$100.
them.
It's $90 for
99.
non-HD, and who's gonna get non-HD? $100.
And I'm one of them. And I'm hating.
And
every
I can
second
come.
of it.
I give you 5, and I'll come over. You know, I'll bring
Yeah,
5
not
and,
gonna
and a
happen.
2-liter.
Not gonna
A
happen.
3-liter.
Phenomenal payday for both fighters.
You bring some cigars, you can come
You know.
on over.
Yeah, what do you think they'll get out of that?
It's a 60-40 split as
Right.
far as at the gate.
Right.
And so it's estimated that both of them
So,
are going to
so the
have
fight's
well over 100
secondary
million.
to what's going on.
Right.
Listen,
We're
man,
not even
this
talking about a fight.
but you know what? I absolutely
For
love
that
it.
amount of money, it better
But
go.
see, that's the
I
lightning of
love
boxing.
it.
though.
Better fight
Because he
44
didn't
rounds.
get that kind of money when he fought a black
44
boxer.
rounds.
For that type of money, they better fight
I
44
mean, I'm just saying,
rounds.
it's a lightning of boxing. Because when he fought black boxers, he didn't get this kind of money. So
I
what's
don't
the-
think
that's
it's
the problem.
this
I
has
don't think
nothing to-
that's- yeah,
you're
I don't
always
think that
bringing
fits.
race in the
Yeah.
issue.
Well, I mean, ELC, what you want me to do?
Yeah, no, that doesn't fit. What you know, what it is this is a fight that's long overdue.
And they're too old to be fighting, get this kind
And
of money.
this is the classic
wanna see
story.
it.
And
The
I
guy
wanted to see this 20 years
They wanna
ago.
see it.
Merriweather wants all cash.
I wanted to.
Oh, yeah, he
I wanted to
raised-
see this 10 years ago. Right now, you know,
you don't want to
Mer-
see this now.
Pacquiao's been down twice.
And guess it don't matter. It's gonna be 3 times.
gonna be 3
It's gonna be
times.
3 times.
Well, I don't think so. I think the light skinned guy's going to get him.
First of all, he's not light skinned.
He's from Manila.
That's what he is.
That
Manila.
was the lightning of
Manila.
fight.
Manila.
That's what I said. He don't want to
He ain't
believe that.
light-skinned.
But anytime else, I think the light skinned guy's going to get him.
Where are heavyweight bouts at? You know, what happened to the
Nowhere
heavyweight
here
division?
near here.
What happened to the heavyweight
World Star.
division?
That's
There
you find
are
the best
no
heavyweight
heavyweight
fights
contenders.
on
World
Facebook.
Star. Yeah.
You know,
However, I am.
No, I think it's a very
I'm
great fight.
extremely happy to see Mayweather take control of his boxing career. The guy is a cash cow.
Yeah.
And for a long time, someone else was steering that ship, and he made a conscious decision to gain control of his career. And what he's done since then has been nothing less than
Absolutely
The,
phenomenal.
remarkable.
the only problem I have with Mayweather, and I'm not a big Mayweather fan.
Oh, really? I couldn't tell.
The only problem I have with him is he's saying he's better than Muhammad Ali. And I just don't.
First of all,
I just don't.
For,
I just- I'm-
as a competitor, if you've beaten everyone that has ever faced you, you have a right to feel that you're the best ever.
I'm not saying he doesn't have a right.
you have a right to feel that
I'm
you're
not
the
saying
best
he
ever.
doesn't have the right, but he doesn't. But you don't. You respect your elders, man. Respect your elders. You know, Muhammad Ali fought at a time. Muhammad Ali made it so Mayweather can have this type of fight.
He didn't say he doesn't respect him,
I can,
but
I'm
he
better
said
than
I'm
him. That's
better
not
than him.
That's
But
just
they have
disrespectful.
he has no
That's
sense of
dis-
history.
Right. That's
Absolutely not.
No
Listen,
Absolutely.
listen.
not. His father was
Bruce
a champion.
Lee.
He does.
Bruce Lee was better than Ip Man,
Who?
his master. Ip
Yeah,
Man.
Ip Man was a no. If you follow Ip Man trained Bruce Lee, but
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
I think that again, that's popular opinion that
not popular.
that Mayweather doesn't have a respect for the boxers that paved the way. He's shown
Do we
nothing
think that
but.
Allen Iverson had
You know,
respect when he said,
but
you know, Michael Jordan put his pants on the same way?
Exactly.
I love it. I
Right.
love it. I love
Exactly.
it. I love it.
Exactly. I love it too.
I love it. I'm
At
not
the end of the
afraid
day,
you.
I'm not,
listen.
I'm not
because
afraid
they were
of you.
playing against each other.
But Darren,
I'm talking about.
But listen, at the end of the day, Darren, popular opinion is the issue with Mayweather. If Mayweather stood for something like Muhammad Ali did, he stood for something. People envied him. They, you know, what he embodied, that spirit. They loved it. He was for people.
Mayweather
you know,
has not stood for anything.
and that's what I'm saying.
First of all, that's not
so,
true.
No, hold on.
What
Let
has he
me
stood
finish my
for?
point.
He hasn't-
Let me finish my point.
He
The
stood for
popular
his
belief
popular.
is people don't like Mayweather because he's sarcastic. He's flaunting his money and all these different things.
No,
but if we kept
and-
it in the squared circle, if we kept it in the
Ooh, you
squared
getting deep
circle,
now, brother.
okay.
No, I don't-
Listen, if you
gotta-
kept it
we
in the
got-
squared circle,
We've got one
Mayweather
minute.
is
We
a
gotta
very
sign off.
talented fighter.
I'm not.
Right,
He is.
right.
He's
talented,
the
but
most
not-
talented
Well,
fighter
he's
we've
not
seen
better
in
than
our
Muhammad
lifetime.
Ali.
Another
He know-
time.
Yes.
Mama
Ladies
didn't call him
and
Clay.
gentlemen,
Listen.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay.
But
We will see
May
you
2nd.
again next week.
Mayweather.
Muhammad
At
Ali.
Table Talk, we'll have more interesting subjects. Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay.
My only point
And we'll
was
see you
with the
next
older
week.
fighters.
Matt Man.
Listen, my only
Pacquiao
point
is the Matt Man.
My only point is this: is that
And we're off.
it goes both ways.